Welcome back to Let's Play DDO Permadeath. For those of you new to the sequence of videos, I have been playing this guy since level 1 under Permadeath rules, and I'm hoping to play him all the way up to 20. And I'm just starting the Necro 1 chain here. Since there might be some people jumping into the middle of the series of videos I've been making, I will talk about the rules I'm playing under here. While I'm making progress through the quest here. So this guy's playing Permadeath, which means if I die at any point during any of the quests I'm doing, then the videos come to an end and I delete the character. Specifically on this guy I'm playing to the rules of my guild, Extreme Explorers. I will put a link to their website in the video description. Okay. So the guild rules are that once your character dies, they have to leave the guild, and typically people in the guild don't continue playing characters once they die. So usually people delete them. I certainly don't play any non-Permadeath characters on this server. Yeah, so I always
ripples form on the surface of the fetid water.
So if I die, I will definitely be deleting, and the series of videos will of course come to an end. Worried there might be some traps around here. So I'm playing an Artificer here. And I didn't put any points in spot yet though, so I'm having to remember where the traps are. Which is rather important Permadeath, since quite a lot of Permadeath characters at low levels end up dying to traps. Probably more people die to traps than the enemies in the really low level stuff. I mean that's a well-known feature even to non-Permadeath players, of course, that the traps are often the hard part. So as I said, I've been playing this character since level 1 under Permadeath rules, and all of the stuff I've done is in the playlist of which this video is a part on YouTube. Other than 1 or 2 quests where I screwed up the recording. So far I've done reasonably well though, only 2 or 3 recording glitches. This is actually a bit dangerous trying to narrate and remember the traps at the same time. I really need to find some points to put in spot. Because I'm going to look pretty silly if I'm talking about the video and I die in a trap.
Bubbles up from the water here. Foul magics are at work in this chamber.
Yeah, the whites in this room can be nasty. I feel like there should be another white around here. So all of the quests that I've done on this guy so far I've done on hard or elite, which is pretty good for me. I usually find there's a few things I have to step down to normal for, but this guy's doing well so far. And he's doing better in this quest already. He hasn't been that great against the undead in low levels, since I'm not breaking the R, but I'm doing better here. I think I picked up a better anti-undead weapon now. Yeah, the Ghost Bane is clearly helpful. Alright, I think this may be a nasty fight at the top here. Alright, tricky but not too nasty. And this trap is very nasty, so I'm glad I'm in here on a trapper. So anyway, I started talking about the guild rules and then got distracted. So obviously the main rule is delete your character when you die, or you leave the guild, most people delete. There are also, of course, equipment restrictions. So you can't get equipment from people outside the guild or join groups of anybody outside of the guild. So basically you can't pike along with non-Permadeath groups, since that would clearly make it a lot easier.
Collapse the stone wall.
There are also restrictions on trading equipment within the guild, so you can't hand down equipment between your own characters, since it would clearly make things could clearly make you very overpowered at low levels if you just get handed down awesome gear. I think there's a trap around here, but I'm not sure where, so I'm going to go slowly. And you can be handed equipment by other members of the guild, but only if they're within 3 levels of you. There we are. On this guy though I'm playing completely solo, so he's not getting equipment handed from anybody else. The one exception is you can have an heirloom item, which is a hand down. One item you're allowed to hand down from a previous character you played. This guy I think has already used and disposed of his heirloom item. Okay, I think this room's looking fairly clear. Alright. So there's a lot of variety in rules between the different Permadeath guilds. Permadeath is not a term that implies any particular rule set other than the rule about it's over when you're dead. Extreme Explorers, the guild that I'm in, and the rules that I'm following, is one of the more relaxed guilds. There are no difficulty restrictions, so although this guy's done everything on hard or elite so far, I am allowed to do stuff on normal if I decide I want to, and I probably will at higher levels. For now though, I'm doing just fine, so I will be continuing it hard for a while yet. Permadeath characters do tend to fall behind the curve a bit in terms of equipment power, since they don't have any stuff handed down from previous high level characters to work with. Those guys had a very bad time. That doesn't look at all suspicious.
As the final cultist falls, you hear a voice whisper, "Rome has awakened me."
As you can tell, my style of playing is very dungeon crawling, so I'm going around breaking everything and getting the various bonuses here. And it's pretty good XP for this Necro chain. So there's plenty of XP to be had. Alright, that's almost completely covered it. I should get all my bonuses in the next room, I think. I mean in the final major room. So I've talked about Extreme Explorers a little. There are obviously lots of other Permadeath guilds and other interpretations of Permadeath rules. And I think it could basically be characterized as a spread between guilds like Extreme Explorers, which add the Permadeath rule and are basically just about encouraging sensible tactics. Having death actually have consequences tends to make groups cooperate a lot better. The other extreme are the guilds that are trying to make the game really hard. So there are a lot of guilds that insist you play hard only, and skipping shrines, and various other restrictions that make the game much harder. And well, those are interesting too, I guess. Personally, I like the Extreme Explorer style. I'm not really looking for the game to be hard, I just want the tactics to be sensible. Because I did play some non-Permadeath before I...
Echo through the vaulted chamber. The sound is disquieting to your ears.
I did play some non-Permadeath before I switched to Permadeath, but pugging didn't really appeal to me because the tactics were pretty silly. Damn it, they interrupted me casting. Alright, Conquest, Ransack, Debilitation. Yes, I think the difference between Permadeath play and non-Permadeath is best characterized by what happens when you get to the first trap in Waterworks. Most pugs, you find half the group dies in the first trap. People who play Permadeath pretty much don't do that. Turns out you play much more carefully when it matters. Alright, I'm just buffing up for the final fight here. My main concern is that he's going to despair me, and I can't take a lot of hits on this guy. Will save of 9 is not bad for level 7, but... well, hopefully it's enough.
The acrid smells of incense and tannin waft in from the chamber beyond. An enemy crumbles to ash and dust.
Alright, not too bad. And I managed to avoid being mummy rotted, which is always a hazard in the end fight out here. And my pet avoided it too, awesome. Alright, time for the tricky one here. Hopefully I can manage this. So doing this solo is obviously really difficult because this one is supposed to require 4 players. So I have brought a hireling along for this one. Yeah, so the guild rules for Extreme Explorers allow hirelings up to level 6. Which is a pretty fair compromise. It gives you hirelings that can pull levers, but they're not a lot of use for anything else. Okay. Alright, that's one pressure pad done. It is it's possible to do this one without the hireling, and indeed without a pet. You can do it single-handed, but it is pretty difficult. I'm just going to use the hireling to stand on the pressure plate here. What I could really use is the portal companion cube. A dead weight that I can put where I want it, and it activates pressure pads. But they don't sell those in the marketplace, so I hired this guy. I hope he's not offended. Now, this may work, or it may not work. Actually reasonably hard to do this on a ranged guy. Alright. Okay, that was fairly easy. Is my pet bugged out? It seems like it might have done. So anyway, apart from the guild rules I'm playing under, then this character's playing under some extra rules of my own. Let's see. So I'm playing this guy pure solo, other than hirelings where they're necessary to proceed with the quest, as you've just seen. The guild rules allow buying stuff on the auction house, although you can only sell stuff if it's below list price. On this guy, I'm using the selling, but I won't be buying anything except tomes. I always allow myself to buy tomes, since they let you play more interesting builds, but for everything else, I'm taking only found gear only. Plus consumables that can be bought from marketplace vendors and such. This guy's doing a lot better against the undead now. I was expecting Dolores was going to be pretty painful on this guy. After the pretty lousy damage I was doing at low levels against undead. But he seems fairly respectable now. So anyway, talking about the rules I'm playing under. Although it's not a rule, I tend to do every quest. I try and do every quest, or at least as many as I can, on my character. Certainly on my soloists. Which is why this guy's already at level 7 but doing level 5 quests. Clearly, doing everything on hard or elite and doing every quest, you tend to level up faster than the quests. Which is always an aim of mine in low levels. It's much harder as Permadeath characters to get XP later on. I feel we fall behind the power curve for equipment. So there are some large sections of the game later on where it can be quite hard to get enough XP. So I try and carry as much as I possibly can out of the low levels. I wonder if I can get that gate open. There's a lot of breakables behind there, if I could open that. I guess that was what opened and let out the undead earlier. The whites, but I don't see how it gets opened. Unless it's one of those two levers. I'm not sure I've ever been in this room. Man, I'm completely lost in this quest. I didn't remember this bit at all. I've clearly got disoriented somehow. Opening secret doors in this quest can be a bad idea, but I'm gonna try it. Alright. I do not think I've ever been down this bit before. And I'm quite a fan of this chain, so surprising to find such a big new area. One of the names here. Alright, nice. I have died in that previous room once on a rogue, so it's not to be taken lightly, that room. Especially when the names are there. But flame turret for sure makes all of these fights much easier. Alright. Well, this is going well enough. I'm going to work my way down the other side as well. Nice, already up to aggression. I have a decent chance of getting conquest this time, I think. This room is unnervingly quiet. Yeah, I'm going to go for all the bonuses here since I have a good chance of getting those. And that's very much my style, is to try and eke out as much XP as possible. Yes, another shrine, eh? Yeah, particularly Permadeath, it definitely pays off to try and eke out the XP where you can. Hence why I've been working pretty hard to keep my bravery bonus going. There's a lot of XP to be had in some of these low level chains. Alright, so looks like we're all clear here. Aha, another rare. It's always nice to come into this quest with some range damage. Actually be able to clear some of these rooms. Alright, nice. Racking up some good bonuses in this one. Looks like I might not make ransack, but I'm pretty close. There might be one more room full of sarcophagi over here. Aha. Alright, I think that was ransack. Very nice. I don't usually get the full set of bonuses doing this one. Okay, looks like no lurking defenders there. Alright, we'll save 9. I think that's as good as I'm going to get here. Alright. There might be a couple of casters either side, and I do not want to get sonic bursted while there's a mummy roaming around. The reason I'm doing this chain hard rather than elite is basically the mummies at the end here. I'm afraid of getting despaired in the end fight. Alright, very nice. I don't think I've ever got the full sweep of bonuses doing that one before. Alright, I need to go sell repair, clear my inventory. I'll be back in a bit. Alright, that's my inventory cleared down, ready to go on to parts 3 and 4. So, yeah, after the slow part 2, part 3 should be a lot faster. So I should talk about the build a little, to remind people who've been watching the series so far, and for anyone that's new to it. So this guy's going pure artificer, and I'm mostly going ranged, as you can tell right now. Although I actually have quite a lot of my action points in the caster side of the artificer enhancements. Mostly because they they nerfed some of the crossbow enhancements, so they don't work with repeaters. So they don't help this character so much anymore. Okay.
This tomb is well kept despite its age. The books lining the walls are in near pristine condition. You feel intense cold radiating from as the flames from the urn subside, the surrounding doors slide open. Faint, guttural chattering comes from the north.
Alright, now these summoning circle fights can be tricky. I can't remember which one this is.
Undead gather here, engaged in a perverse ritual of summoning. The power of this summoning circle subsides as the last wight is slain.
Alright, no books in this one. It's nice coming in this one on the trapper, since I can get all the...
A rune-scarred skull is mounted above the doorway here. It seems as if it watches your every move.
Nice being able to get all the optionals. I just realised I had the wrong weapon. There's not many undead in this one, so I might as well be on my one of my other weapons. Yep, that cuts through the human enemies much better. Having a precise shot.
Furnished for living occupants. The cultists seem to appreciate the finer things in life.
That they do. Yeah, finding precise shots really useful in this guy. So, as I was saying, this guy's a ranged build. He's going for improved precise shots. And precise shot's really handy for taking out casters. It's the equivalent of jumping over the melees to hit the caster, except you don't have to do the jumping. I think it's a long time before I get improved precise shot. Since I can't afford to buy tomes early, it'll be some time before I can get that. And since I was going partly... Right, I definitely want fire resist on in here. Yeah, breathing fire on our fireball. That's not really a great plan, Doc. That is one of the things that used to annoy me about this chain, is having the fireballs following you around the whole time. Alright, some of these fights can be quite tricky.
The power of this summoning circle subsides. The last one is slain.
Yeah, quite a few people die doing this quest on hard with these, either in the corridors if you get the cast to come up behind you, or doing these summoning chamber fights. Yeah, we lose a few Permadeath players in here. Characters, rather. I think the other side is the most dangerous one. Man, I've opened a lot of these rooms and still don't have any of the books. Huh, they're both in here. Unusual to have two in one room. Yeah, this looks a bit trappy. We don't get into these rooms very often, so always a risk that there's a trap that I've forgotten about. There's quite a few undead in this one, but not that many that are dangerous. It's the wandering casters that are most dangerous, sneaking up with a fireball behind you. Alright. Yeah, I didn't used to be a big fan of this chain. I think, although the quests are very sort of atmospheric and they're nicely designed quests, the enemies are a bit sort of spread out and unfocused. It wasn't until I started playing this chain on hard regularly that I started to properly enjoy it. It just makes it difficult enough to be more interesting. Okay. Yeah, this is a spot where people die. Having stuff shoved behind you, a lot of casters with fireball, is a bit risky. Still looking for one more tome.
to destroy me, have you, mortals? I await you in my chamber.
Alright, racking up the bonuses now. I've always been a fan of the Bloody Crypt, the last one in the chain. It has a certain quality to it that I like. It's very atmospheric. But it didn't really make it the rest of the chain. It wasn't doing it for me until I started doing it on hard all the time. When a bit more opposition, it makes the atmosphere work. Aha. And I still have the summoning circle on this side to do. And this is the hard one. In fact, I'm switching over to a weapon that will work a little better against the Earth Elementals. Always a danger that they hold you and do a lot of harm. Yep, that fight is more exciting. Alright. Ah, that was Conquest. Good. Hang on a moment, my computer's trying to... Alright, that's better. I filled up my hard drive with recordings for a moment there. Always a bad idea. A lot of... Alright, hopefully it will behave itself now. Alright, well save 9. Hopefully I'm good against the Crushing Despair. Usual tactics there, kill the Barrow Wights before waking up the mummy. Alright, I think I'm all ready.
As the mummy's form tumbles to the ground, you sense the magical barrier to the north fade.
Very nice. Alright, just one of the 4 flagging quests to go. Let's see if I can kick my pets back into action.
The skulls of giants adorn this tangle of roots. The skulls emit a dreadful groan and the doors around you slide open.
Alright, this quest is very trappy, which can work out okay on a trapping guy. Just gotta remember not to go, not to blunder into anything. thought there was a trap there sometimes, but I guess not. Alright, I'm coming over this side first so I can get the shrine open, of course. Wow, that's a lot of trap boxes together.
Filled with implements of torture. The equipment looks well used. A deep, bone-chilling cold seems to emanate from the north of this room.
So I'll have to think what I'm doing next after this, after the flagging quests here. I guess I don't want to go on to to the final part just yet, since that's one level up, so I can afford to take level 8 before I do the bloody crypt. And it looks like I won't be at the XP cap for level 7 quite yet. I'll have to choose between Tangleroot and Delaris. Delaris Part 1, since that's the other level 5 that I haven't done yet. Where's this box then? Maybe it's further ahead. I don't know where that trap box is then. That's kind of a neat animation, the flaming sphere fading out. Don't think I've seen that before. I'm doing badly at finding the skulls this time. Nice. This corner down here has a couple of tricky fights. There are quite a few casters down here. But being a ranged guy helps a lot. Yeah, being able to just pick up the casters from distance is very handy. Okay, I've gone around almost the whole level and not found any skulls. I must be being really, really unobservant today. Alright, one last tricky fight. Okay, time to go skull hunting. Okay, there's one. Okay, so I only found one rune in the whole pass through the place. And I'm not an expert on the locations of the rune skulls in this one, so I might have to run around for a bit here. Guess I might as well shrine now. Whoops. Aha.
As the magic of the last rune fades, a dry voice whispers from the air. Who dares knock on my door? A palpable feeling of heat washes over you as you enter this room. You must be near the blood.
Alright. I think I'm ready for the end fight.
through the crypt.
Alright, okay, not bad XP. Got the optionals. Alright. Oh wait, one more chest. Okay, all done. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next video.